woodworking. He's very creative. He's very good with coming up with ideas and solutions to problems you may have. Went to Granville High School and has kind of built himself a business that's top notch that other people just don't want to replicate. So give it a hand for Chase, phenomenal guy.
Nelson Remodeling Services. To start, this is just about me here. We'll get into that. So I actually created this presentation I think the last time that I did a presentation, but added some photos and some other information. And it was around the time that we were having Christmas, so I have the Christmas tree in there as well. Gained another little buddy there to add to the crew. That's my dog Roxy. Then we've got Holly. I really enjoy music, so I like to put that into my presentation because music is really important to me. And then as you can see, there is a lot of excavation, land work, and stuff like that. So this has been an ongoing project for me for the last 2 to 2.5 years of basically building a shop and a barn dominium and just cultivating the land to live on there. So after that, about us, Nelson Remodeling, we strive to be the best by being one-stop shop for construction services, from additions, new construction, interior remodeling, all the way to commercial construction. So what I like to do is I like to handle a lot of the design portion of the project all the way to the end of the project. So I love to see from sitting down, communicating with the clients, coming up with a plan, and I guess putting that to use. And along the way, of course, that doesn't always happen perfectly. There's a lot of changes that happen, stuff like that. So we love to sit down and have meetings frequently along the way with the client to make sure that everything is going to plan and how they would like that to look. So working with architects, designers, can really help make that process a lot easier. We have really good architects that go ahead and give us a perfect legend for notes that we enjoy to work with, as well as a designer who comes in before the project who can then help out with a lot of the furnishings, the picking of the fixtures, how the cabinetry is going to look, whether that's going to be custom, whether that's going to be vanities, stuff along that lines there. So our vision, as you can see in the center picture here, this is an area where shelving was incorporated into the trusses. This is a really awesome way to utilize space that is normally covered up when it comes to construction. Most people will kind of forget or lack to think of other ideas and creative ways of coming up with unused space. And I really love just thinking of ideas like this to show our clients that there's additional things that we can do that can really knock it out of the park. On this, here's a couple other ideas here as well. So these photos show us installing and preparing lumber to go above and beyond for support. A lot of times when it comes to construction that I've worked with other builders and stuff like that, when we are building our overhangs, they usually just throw a ladder up there, and basically the ladder is the overhang portion that is just nailed to the house. We like to install some additional support running through the trusses. That's going to help that overhang stay super stable as we continue to build on. Up here is a porch remodel. That one there has a minimal of 2x10 equipment was suggested by the city when we went and did the permit process. They wanted a minimum of that. So what we like to do on our front ledgers and our house ledgers is do anything 2x12 and up. So this porch remodel had an LVL installed on about 2 of them at that are 16 inches in width. So we try to go above and beyond when it comes to our lumber and structural build. Over here on this project, the picture didn't turn out as I hoped, but anyways, so this wall our plans are to remove that wall and do a bearing load. So again, this is another area where there's a couple different options. Most builders will go in and just do a header to support those trusses. What we'll end up doing is probably doing a header that we can install above the trusses and have hangers holding the trusses in place. As long as that follows code, then we will be able to do that, and then we'll be removing that header from the visual line and being able to sheet drywall right on through, which is a phenomenal option. So a couple other projects that are in our workforce that we'd like to tackle would be office spaces and office remodels. Anywhere from sunrooms to bathrooms to living space, cabinetry installation. So this house here was a 200-year-old house in Heritage Hill, so we have dabbled with a lot of your historic homes. So we got to see what code compliance that we'd have to abide by when it comes to working within those homes. For instance, none of the windows can be vinyl, they have to all be wood, so if you touch them, there's no installation of vinyl. I've actually heard a horror story from a client within Heritage Hill who removed all of those windows, installed vinyl windows, and then had gotten a $50,000 fine from the city because it is going against their historic value that they want to continue to maintain. So it is just wild of what things you can get into. And then here's a herringbone pattern tile that I installed in my home, and that there is all free tile from my uncle who was in the tile trades for quite a few years. So that was fantastic. Oh, and then, sorry about this. Custom builds, another one of the things that we thoroughly enjoy to do is coming up and building custom style cabinetry. So that was previously a pantry closet, and then we had built an inset cabinet there. We're going backwards. So let's see. So these are just a visual of some architectural plans that will be on a house in East Grand Rapids. This will be his and hers bathroom. This is the addition portion jetting out, which is going to also incorporate the attic space, which was unused for the technical third floor of the home there. Alrighty, so this will show you another idea of the plans there on what we are adding would be the blue space. So this would be the closet, his and hers closets, and then the bathroom portion there. This will be a new stairwell that will be bringing us into the attic space. So here are some custom builds that the designer had printed out. So when we come and have these custom builds and they can be removed, what we'll do is we'll actually build them at our shop and then be able to bring them in and set them up. And so that eliminates us having to be on site for any of that build, which is really awesome. So they'll come in and do perfect measurements so they know what they are getting. Yeah.
Just
2 minutes? Oh, gotcha. Some more of that. Another area that we love to dabble in is the excavation side of things. So this project here, that was about 5,000 square feet of soil there, or 5,000 yards of soil there. And this house here, we were prepping for the foundation over here for an addition, and then just some dirt work over here. A couple other projects that we have dabbled in would be building pole barns and garages. This was another house that was in Heritage Hill area, and another code that they had to follow was to match the color of paint. So we had done that there. A couple of more projects would be fire damages, water damages, or tree damages that we have here. And then with all of that, bring it to the end, you're gonna go there. So will there be any questions?
What's some of your favorite, like, kinds of work?
That is really difficult. I love construction of all aspects. And truthfully, I've been wanting to build since I was about 7 years old. I've had an art project that my mom has hung on to that was like a book of me talking about that. So truthfully, it's really hard for me to choose, but I really like anything that challenges me. So that could be anything from a custom project or just figuring something out that you normally can't get around, or an obstacle that gets put in my way that we have to solve. That is my favorite portion of the project. So it's kind of hard to explain. So I don't know. At the end of the day, tiling, being really meticulous with the project, custom work, framing. So those would be all of the main portions of the project that we'd love to do. So.
Okay.
Do you do all of it yourself or do you sub certain things out?
Yeah, great question. So we have about 3 or 4 other guys that are in-house that help tackle a lot of like the carpentry side, the framing side. Sometimes we'll tackle the exterior portions and the interior portions. From time to time, we'll bring on other subs. So when it comes to like the drywall, of course for mechanicals, sometimes our painters as well as our roofers. So we'll definitely bring on some subs when it comes time for that. So yeah, not a problem.